Chanute, a small town in the heart of southeast Kansas, known for its hospitality and old-fashioned flair, and famous for their safari museum and their very own Roxy Theater. Just outside the city limits, in the spacious and lush countryside, is the Rockin' Bee Ranch, home to a vast menagerie of animals and Chanute native Greg Bilyeu and his wife Nancy. Within their 12-acre property is an aerated pond filled with catfish, channel cat, and wipers, an ideal location to fish and observe the wild ducks. Also on their farm are 2 horses, Oscar and Rosie, and a pony named Patsy. Animals find comfort and solitude on their serene land, as do happy owners Greg and Nancy and their Hungarian Vizsla Chili.
We got Chili in around Easter time of 1995. It'd been a little over a year since I'd lost, somewhere around a year since I'd had to euthanize my Great Dane, Sam, that I'd had for 10 years. That was my buddy. And my vet had decided that I should wait for a while, which I did. And I was at a point to where it was time. So I went on my quest to find the perfect breed of dog for what I wanted. And that led me to the Vizsla. And that's how I found Chili.
Chili, a Hungarian Vizsla with a bright red coat and green eyes, entered the Bilyeu's lives in 1995. Growing up, he made sure there was always a warm body to snuggle with, and soon took his place on the family tree.
Oh, Chili, he was the most unique pet we've ever had. He was probably the smartest dog I've ever seen, the most loyal friend you could ever ask for. And he just had an unbelievably wonderful personality.
During his first year, Chili's small 5-pound frame soon grew into a handsome, healthy, and muscular full-size dog.
He wanted to be with you all the time. There's a Hungarian saying that says, if you own a Vizsla, it lives on your head. They call the Vizsla the Velcro Vizsla for a reason, because they want to be as close to you as much as possible.
The other breeds that I've been around, there's none that are as human or people-oriented as the Vizsla. You know, they just stick to you like glue. They're, you know, your best friend. They're your buddy. They're with you all the time. And they don't like to be separated from you, so you get so attached to them.
Chili's infectious personality and charm never went unnoticed and spread throughout the family in all directions.
My children loved Chili. They loved to be around him. They loved to interact with him, and it was just a joy to watch him. You know, he was like my nephew, and he just made you feel good being around him because he's such a lovable animal.
Chili was not only known for his affectionate nature, but also for his humorous yet endearing antics.
There was one time when Chili was outside, and he was pretty much free to go out and come in whenever he wanted. He'd gone out and he'd come in and was acting. I was in the kitchen, and he came in the kitchen, and he was walking around my legs, and his tail was tucked between his legs, and he was cowering, and he was looking very nervous and just acting totally weird. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was, and I just started looking over him and trying to figure out what it was, and I lifted his tail, and he hadn't done such a good job of wiping, and he wanted to be wiped. So I cleaned him up, and he was totally happy, and over the years this happened several times. He actually, when he had a problem and wasn't as clean as he thought he should be, he would let you know.
In Chili's early years, there was never a dull moment. His favorite activities included roaming freely around Rockin' Bee Ranch, playing with whatever creatures he could find, and memorable trips to Beaver Lake, Arkansas.
The trips to the lake, watching Chili float on his raft out in the lake all day, going out and trying to find him when he was younger. After he'd take off with the neighbor dog Brownie, they'd be gone for 8, 10, 12 hours, and we'd find them plodding up the road, just exhausted, You know, they'd been out for a wild day in the country.
Vizslas have an uncanny talent for manipulating people, a trait Chili mastered.
My brother-in-law, his mother, was sitting in a chair in Nancy's living room, and Chili went over to my brother-in-law's mother and started pawing her. I thought that he just wanted her to pet him. Apparently, that was his chair to sit in. He wanted her to get up and move so he could sit in his chair. I just thought that was rather humorous.
Another thing that he did that was funny was he would not sit on the linoleum. He always backed up and put his fanny on the carpet or on the rug. He was just a hoot.
Everyone who knew Chili, family members and friends alike, treated him like a human.
Vizslas are classified as open family dogs. They love everybody indiscriminately. Anybody that's a regular over here spent time sitting on the sofa with Chili, and you know, they all became friends, not just friends of ours, but friends of Chili's.
To keep Chili's vibrant personality on track, yearly trips to the vet were essential. Just south of Pittsburgh, Kansas, located on Langdon Lane, is an animal hospital, owned and operated by renowned veterinarian Dr. Richard Peterson.
Known Nancy since the mid-'80s. She was kind of young and bouncy and always had a good pet. Nancy and I became bonded or had a close relationship. She trusts me, I trust her, and you know, she's a good pet owner, and so we enjoy the relationship.
While Dr. Peterson and Nancy's relationship was one of mutual trust, Chili's was a bit rocky.
I took him into Dr. Peterson, who neutered him, and from that day forward, Chili wanted to have nothing to do with Dr. Peterson. That was it.
You'd take him to the office, and as soon as you pulled up in the driveway, he'd try and crawl under the seat in the car. You just about have to drag him in there. You know, he wasn't real fond of him because of that.
Through the many ups and downs of their relationship, Dr. Peterson was always there for Chili.
Well, Chili, you know, I started out with Chili as a young animal, a young puppy, and he was, of course, happy-go-lucky and gregarious and busy and fun to be around and never aggressive, and you know, he was just a good old family pet. Although I don't think he ever really fully recognized that I did the right thing by neutering him at age 3. In retrospect, probably should have neutered him at an earlier age so he wouldn't have remembered it so well.
Get Nettie, Chili. Get Nettie. Get her. Get Nettie. Go get her. Get Nettie. You gonna let Annette get up, Chili? She's cold in the snow. Let her get up.
Chili flourished through the years, but eventually old age crept up.
As Chili has been getting older, I knew he was 12. And I had looked up the average lifespan of Vizsla, and I knew that it was 14. And I was really worried about how my sister was going to handle it.
You expect it to be so gradual, and this was not. I mean, because he'd been acting normally. I mean, we'd taken him out on hikes basically right before, you know, he got ill. He didn't ever really show that he was not really feeling real well or anything right up until the point to where, you know, he was in serious trouble.
He was throwing up, and we suspected that it was more than just a bug or whatever, and took him to Doc Peterson, and they started running tests, and then through, you know, testing, we learned what was wrong with him.
Well, Chili had primarily had liver failure. His liver enzymes were elevated off the chart, and every time we rechecked him, they were getting worse. So we know he had some liver degeneration. Nancy made a decision to not go to surgery with Chili, not to put him through that biological insult.
Hi, handsome. It was like, this is what you do for your dog. When your dog's in trouble and what you're going to face is going to be a whole lot, what you and he are going to face is going to be a whole lot worse than letting him go peacefully.
I was just very sad. I knew it was going to have to happen. I mean, you know, there was not an alternative. It wasn't a matter of whether it was going to happen or not. It was a matter of when. And fortunately, we were lucky enough to have some extra quality time with him before he had to be put down. But it wasn't easy.
That's probably one of the toughest decisions that my clients have to deal with is number one, do they or I believe in euthanasia? Number two, am I willing to accept that as a solution to our immediate problem?
His last days were numbered, and the decision was made to euthanize him, to end his pain.
I had to travel the day before it was planned to put him down, and I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and say goodbye to my buddy, and it was hard. It was very hard.
How do you feel this morning, little buddy? You tired?
He slept with me and Nancy that night. We kind of sheltered him between us. Next day, we just tried to make him as comfortable as possible, and we took him out and just tried to hug him and kiss him a lot. And then the vet came to the door, and everything happened really fast after that. She came in and she gave him a shot to relax him first. I knew that was for his own good. Then when Chili was injected, I wanted to scream out for her to stop. I wasn't ready to let go yet because he was such a good puppy.
You know you're going to miss him. But he was so miserable. You know, he just did not feel good, and he just needed to be in a better place.
And it's so hard to let go of a pet that is so loved like that. But I did. And when it was over, we covered him up, and he lay in the living room for a while. And we were okay until we took him to the pet hospital. And when I finally had to help Nancy hand his body over, that's when I really knew he was gone, and that was the hardest part ever, because I would never see him again.
When you lose a pet that lives with you and is an intricate part of your life, he's there every day, every minute, you know, it leaves a absolutely massive void where that pet used to be in your life. And I'm here in the house by myself a lot. Greg travels a lot. You know, it's like Chili was my right-hand man. And when he was gone, it was just, I can't deal with the emptiness.
Certainly there's a mourning period that's necessary for people. That mourning period is sometimes as long as years. We see many situations where families will go, no more pets. And 3-4 years later, here they come dragging in a new puppy. And we see other families that'll go out the very next day and take on a new pet.
Nancy called me the day after Chili was put to sleep, and she told me that she just couldn't bear that void, so that her and Greg were going to go to Wichita and look at some Vizsla puppies.
To everyone's immense surprise, a new chapter was about to begin.
Nancy and Greg's situation, I think it was beneficial for her to immediately go out and get something to fill that void, because Chili was such a part of their life. He was like their child.
Not only did they get one Vizsla puppy, they got two, brothers named Gonzo and Joe Pesci.
When I first found out that Nancy and Greg had gotten us a puppy, I freaked out. But after we actually saw the dog. We fell in love with him, and there's no way that we couldn't take him home.
A lot like having a baby when you're 50, you know, midnight feedings, midnight diapers. I had forgotten, you know, that part of it. But that being said, puppies grow into dogs pretty quick.
Oh, it's been a hoot. You know, it had been almost 12 years since we'd had a puppy in the house, and you know, you get less sleep and a lot more laughs, you know, but it's a good thing.
Having Pesci in our life has just brought a lot of joy, sometimes frustration. I can't imagine him not being part of our family. He's like the youngest member of our family, and we're all totally in love with him.
As they grow, they noticeably exhibit a strong bond and traits similar to Chili.
You know, I've already seen a lot of things in this new puppy that remind me of Chili and his mannerisms, and I know those are traits of the breed, and that's why we love those dogs so much, because they're so smart. They have such good skills as far as interacting with people that they're just a joy to be around.
What I look forward to, Pesci, is just seeing the type of dog that he'll turn out to be. And I hope he is like, if he's a tenth of what Chili was, I'll be very happy.
I look forward to him growing up soon.
Everybody should go out and get a Vizsla today. You should be Vizsla-ized.
Gonzo and Joe Pesci brighten the lives of their families. However, they have some awfully big shoes to fill.